Hey everyone. Today we're going to just work with some really basic sub-D stuff, make hopefully some saddle geometries if we get it right. This is Rhino 7 work in progress. And then we'll just do some basic Grasshopper operations to kind of tune up the form. And maybe we'll work on the landscape with some sub-D after that. So I'm just going to start out with the sub-D sphere. Let's maybe twist it using our twist command. You don't have to go too crazy, I don't think. Let's get the look I'm thinking of. Maybe a little bit more. Just twisting it. That looks pretty cool. From here, holding Control Shift and double clicking, I'm going to just select the ribbon, cut it out, and then holding Control Shift and selecting the two different parts. So I'm going to use the bridging command. On my YouTube, I think there was a comment. What command was that? It's just bridge meshes or sub-Ds. Basically, that just joins the two together. Like I said, I want to do some kind of saddle geometry today. So maybe something like that, or we go higher. Whichever looks the coolest. That looks pretty sweet. And then we'll just do some hand modeling. Bring up that side. I want to give it kind of a heroic top to it. That's looking pretty cool. Bring up this side just a little bit more. There we go. It's pretty easy to create with Rhino 7. Looks like these parts are starting to intersect a little bit, which I want to avoid. So yeah, that's basically going to be our working geometry. And then from here, what I'm going to do is just convert this to a poly surface, just like so. I'm going to hide our sub-D model. And then if we type in Grasshopper, bring that up. Type in brep. So this is going to be a little bit of a less parametric operation. I'm going to type in contour. Plug that in. We'll give it a distance of 1. And I kind of wanted to make it into kind of layering of boxes, so where the curvature happens, the box kind of pops out, and then where it's kind of flattening out, the box is kind of aligned. So we type in divide length. We use those curves to figure out the size of our boxes. And I'm just going to plug in the length into the contour depth. Obviously, we can adjust that as needed if we want more boxes or less. Then from here, I'm going to type in box. And we're going to put it on the point. Obviously, these boxes don't have any dimensions to them. I can just hide that poly surface. So you're starting to get that stepping action, but there's a lot of overlapping. So if we were to bake this, I want to keep them pretty on top of each other rather than overlap. So you can see these two are really overlapping. I want to avoid that. So what I need to do is, since these are working off of a center, we need to divide this number by half. So if we type in divide or division, 1 divided by 2. This should be that box dimension. So we can plug all those into here, just like so. Now if we were to bake these, they should be just right on top of each other. Yep. So if we go to rendered view, start to get kind of cool properties where they're starting to pop out and kind of come together in some spots. And then from here, just so it's not a white model, I'm going to take that Grasshopper definition back to shaded, and we're going to deconstruct the brep, and we're going to list out the faces. I want the top face and all the other faces just to be a little bit different. So we're going to go to list item, and we're going to figure out there's 6 sides to a cube. Go down to 5. Usually the fourth and fifth are the bottom and the top, so I'm just going to figure that out real quick, which one is which. So if we go down to these lower ones, looks like 4 is the bottom, 5 is the top, so we can join all the rest. Join B-rep. Plug all those into here. Just like so. And just to lighten up the model, I type in mesh B-rep. And we're just going to join all those together. Flatten it. It's all one model. I'll just do the same for this top one. And that's pretty much going to be it for the Grasshopper stuff. We might want to add thickness to the outside of each one of these. So I delete that. Yeah. So it's running really quite quick. And then I might increase the number of boxes in this particular model just so we have more resolution on the model. So let's bring that down to 0.5 maybe. We'll just double them. May take a little bit of time. That looks pretty sweet. Maybe a few too many. We'll try to find the variation. Just go half and a half. Pretty quick. And then if we go up to Weaver Bird in our Grasshopper tab, I might just thicken the outside of the join B-rep. And we'll just give it a little bit of a dimension. 5. What I'm trying to do is make the top of that maybe a vegetation or something. So let's just bake these two out. That looks pretty good. I might just lower the actual vegetation, have a good snap on. We don't want that. Just make that slightly lower. There we go, pretty cool. And then if we go back to shaded, I'm just gonna get it ready for Lumion real quick. All right, close that. Oop, wrong one. Change the tops to grass, my grass layer. And the sides, I'm just going to change to plaster for now. Change it to aluminum. So go to shape or render it again. Oh, it doesn't recognize materials here. Okay. And I might just copy that around a couple times so we can show off the sides, different perspectives of this particular model. Copy that. Paste it. Particular one, I'm going to keep rotating around. Rotate this one so we get the view. Alright, I'll shift this over just a little bit. And then I'm just going to join everything by their materials. Make the model a heck of a lot lighter. Alright, let's have some fun with Subdivide for the landscape. So I'm just going to roll out a plane real quick. I'm going to try to make it so maybe we're in water and there's these little islands that are popping up. So if we take this plane, this is going to be our ground plane. So I'm going to lower it. And we're going to click this button. It's Subdivide actual Subd surface, and holding Control and Shift, I'm going to click on my select by brushing. Make sure our brush is relatively big. And holding Control Shift, I can kind of just zoom around, make little patches for selection. That didn't work as well as I thought. Maybe we'll just pick some up by hand. Okay. Maybe this side comes up just a little bit too. Just enough to touch more of that model that we just created. Okay, I'll do the same for this one. And ultimately I'm going to smooth this all out, so we'll have to reorient this a little bit anyway. Okay. Alright, that looks pretty cool. So just picture this in water for now. And I'm going to type in smooth. There we go. I do want to be able to see a little bit of the ground plane through the water. So probably put some boats in here as well. Okay. Do is just raise this up so they're kind of embedded in the ground. And from here we can just make it a actual poly surface. This might take a lot of subdivisions in here. And then after that, all we're going to do is put some water in there. I'm going to just change this to a mesh. Escape. Let's put the lower setting on here. Just wait for it. There we go. And then just to keep the model light, I'm going to type in reduce mesh, and we're going to do planar only. This shouldn't take long. There we go. A lot smoother. I'm going to change this to sand. And from here, all we're going to do is type in bounding box. That'll be our water layer. I'm going to explode it. Bring that layer down so we can see our islands. Just like so. Change that to water. And we're ready for Lumion. Alright, so we got it loaded up in Lumion. I'll lift it off the ground plane. You can see everything. And then from here, we're just going to add in some materials. So nature, we're going to put in some water. The ground plane, we're going to make sand. Here. Let's try to get some, yeah, that's good. And then for the grass area, put natural again. Some wild grass in there. Hopefully we can make it a little bit taller. Or not the grass size, the grass length. Just like so. And on the outside material, some tiles on that. So we get some patterning happening. I don't know about that one. I don't know if dark would look good on here. Let's see here. Do some rock. That might look pretty cool. Or if we get some foliage at the bottom. This is the tricky part about adding leaves. They come up pretty quick. Let's offset these a little bit. Bring the leaf size down. Leaf type should be green. Bring that down just a little bit. Alright, that's pretty cool. Save those changes. Let's put some palm trees out here since we're in the middle of the water. Let's see. Take that guy out. That one's really leaning. view. Try to get them all looking a little bit unique. The ball might be a little bit too big, but that's all right. Let's get a couple of these. And let's get maybe some low-lying plants. Try to make it pretty consistent. I might have too many here. That's right. And we'll add a person. She's just kind of stuck out there. There we go. Get some boats in the back, maybe. Sailboat. Let's see what that looks like. Alright. Make a view like that. Let's do realistic. Go to FX. Let's get the camera straightened. Let's get some. Let's see here. Get some clouds in there. Just a little bit. Let's get high clouds for the most part. Low cloud or high clouds. Low clouds, we'll leave those a little bit smaller. Looks pretty cool. Let's get a sun. Alright. Let's get right into the water. Might move that sailboat back. Just so it's on the horizon. That shot looks pretty cool. I mess with this just a little bit so we get more. Yeah. I'm just being picky now. Alright, try to get that centered for the most part. Alright, I like that. And move that sailboat pretty far back really quickly. We'll rotate it. That looks pretty cool. See what it renders out like. Yeah, 56. Okay. A little dark. A little dark, but we can Photoshop that. Kind of want to get the view a little bit more aligned so it looks like equally spaced. That girl might have to move just a little bit, but it's kind of cool. Just kind of hidden figure. So move this slightly. Render again. 6. Kind of like temples, aren't they? Okay, save that. The sun just a little bit brighter. A little bit. Sun height just up a little bit more. Or is it less? Of course, I'm going to add some birds. This shot's just not working for me. Might be that palm tree. Right. Very nice. Just a little bit. I'd rather render it out dark, and this goes for a lot of these things, than light, because then we can Photoshop the heck out of it. Okay, let's get some birds happening. There's the seagulls right there. I'm going to bring them out over here so we can keep track of them. And let's just do a bunch of them. Okay, move them. Here. Right in the center. We'll have to bring them up in the air. What's that look like? Okay. That's a better shot. Kind of like that. Alright, and then just one extra thing, I might add some fog out in the distance. Maybe a horizontal shadow, or clouds. And then we'll add some fog way out there. Try that out. Been pretty cool. Still not set on the actual view yet. That's why I'm keep going back. Try that out. I think I'm liking that. So let's do some Photoshop touch-up, and I think we're there. I might go back and just get rid of these other birds that aren't needed, but looks good. enjoy, and if you guys have any other suggestions, just leave them in the comment box. Thanks.